in my 17th summer, I was a high school dropout and an apprentice bricklayer. And I was really excited about the possibilities of both of those things. For leaving high school early and being able to get into college in order to prepare for a profession, and the bricklaying in terms of learning a trade, both to provide me with financing for my education as well as a backup.
He's met presidents, and he's met people in very high office. And he has as much affection, I think, for his bricklaying friends as he does for the very high officials whom he's met, because I really think he sees the good and the warmth and the skills of people all across the economic spectrum. Because Bob worked with 3 governors and then the U.S. Secretary of the Treasury back in Washington, he's very politically savvy.
In the 1960s and the 1970s, it was pretty clear to me that the big domestic problem of the future for the United States was health care.
I think probably his concern about people, the concern about people being equal, and more especially being treated equally, would be something that would be natural to lead him to health care.
But he's never been really interested in politics. It's been policy.
What you needed to do in public policy was not to come up with the ideal solution. Try to understand it enough that you thought you had an idea of what was reasonably workable, and then try it and see how it would work out.
In the state of Utah, there isn't much in health policy that's gone on probably in the last 30 or more years that has not got Bob's thumbprint on it in some fashion.
He has a tremendous commitment to service. It's just permeated his life.
I was brought to the University of Utah to direct the development of the graduate program in public administration.
He loved teaching, and he was hired by the political science department without a political science degree.
Dixie has the only political science degree in our family.
But it's because he was in the public administration section of the department.
It's really interesting that a person who was so interested in numbers and the finiteness of something like engineering would get into something as ethereal and as in the ethos thing as political science. It's almost unbelievable. But his mind, that's how it works.
He taught the ethics course, he taught tax policy, he taught budgeting, and he moved into health policy. And these are all aspects of public administration.
I really loved my classes. I ran my classes really in a kind of modified Socratic dialogue.
The student would think of Bob Huefner as being very bright, incredibly broad, and has a unique gift, a gift of being able to see something very large and then bring it down to something very pragmatic and very real.
And he has trained dozens and dozens of students who are working in the state of Utah, in state government, in county government, in city government.
This is Utah. Bob's a Democrat. And I live in Davis County. They don't allow Democrats in Davis County, so it's difficult for me to admit there that I know Bob.
He has very firm principles and values, but is very open to different ways to get there.
He's a listener, he's a convener, he's a person who listens to all the facts that make up his mind.
He likes to know what other people are thinking and doing and feeling about things.
If I listen, they're more likely to listen as well. And we're more likely to get into a healthy dialogue.
Because of that, people are not afraid to bring ideas in, and from ideas grow more ideas. He has a very sweet relationship with Dixie. Here are 2 eggheads from Harvard. I mean, gee whiz. And they care about each other deeply. You see them walking down the street, they're holding hands. They talk about each other. I can only imagine what the conversation is like at the breakfast table.
It usually involves national policy issues.
You'd need a calculator, a slide rule, and a computer to understand what they're talking about, but they get along famously.
We talk a lot together. We have very interesting conversations. We're in a number of fascinating book groups.
This man cares so deeply about people. He will do all he can for as long as he can in any way he can to help humankind.
I just have never known anyone who has cared so much about improving and hoping others will improve the world we live in.